statement, and then take questions. Coach?
Well, I mean, obviously another special night in Welsh Ryan tonight. I mean, what a week. Can't talk enough about the atmosphere. I mean, I was just talking to a couple of my best friends from high school who were at the game, and this is quietly becoming one of the best atmospheres, to play in. And because of the way we built this arena with the intimacy of everybody on the court and 7,000 and the students right on top of the action and the way they're rallying around this team with their energy. And I mean, it's awesome. I mean, I get a little emotional because I always say, I was always the kid. When I was younger, I always had a big imagination, where you go in the backyard and you always envision yourself playing in the NBA Finals or the Final Four or things like that. And there were often times I came in when I first came here in the old Welsh Ryan, and sometimes some of your best memories are when you walk into an empty arena and kind of you look around and you kind of use your imagination about what you hope one day this place could look like. And it's been that this week. And so I thank everybody, in the fan base and especially the students for how they're rallying around this team. Couldn't be prouder of my team. This is not an easy game to play, first of all, because Iowa is really good. They'd won 5 out of 6. They're the best offensive team, most explosive, and the hardest to guard because of the way they run their motion and their shooting. And so to be able to hold them to 60 points, was quite a feat, and it shows a lot about our guys, the way they hustle. They certainly missed a lot of open shots that they normally make. I'm not saying we were perfect, but I just thought the way we defended all night, we took away a lot of easy baskets and we made it hard on them at times. And then, for us to just the way we played, we had chase and foul trouble. Buie was fantastic again, just played a phenomenal floor game. He scored, but the thing that I loved about him was when they tried to get the ball out of his hands, he got rid of it, and he made good decisions. And I thought two guys who were just great tonight were Ty Berry and Brooks Barnhizer. I thought those two guys, we use Ty. He gives us 16 points, but we use Ty as a guy to kind of press up to try to slow their fast break down a little bit and kind of jam the ball. He did that all night, which takes a lot of energy, and still found a way to give us 16 points. And, I think you're seeing with Brooks, he's starting to give us another playmaker, another guy who can get by somebody, another guy who can make a play for himself, make a play for others. And we need that, especially on a night when Chase is in foul trouble the whole night. We needed other guys to step up. Our bigs did a really good job. I thought Nick Martinelli's minutes when he came in, he's really coming of age. So this was a team win, and we understand who we beat. This is a terrific team that's going to, play deep. In my opinion, they can play deep into March because they have a lot of weaponry out there, and they're very difficult to defend, and they have veteran guys, and Franny's a big-time coach. So, really happy with the win, and three at home this week. We were able to take care of business, which was big, and now we'll head out on the road on Thursday night. Open for questions.
Like 20 days ago, they beat you by 16 in Iowa City. Tonight, you beat them by 20 here. What did you see as the biggest differences?
Yeah, I mean, I think basketball is basketball. I mean, it just shows you on a given night, anything, especially when teams are really good, and, in that game, I think the thing that we did tonight really well is we never let them have that big run. That's what kind of happened. We had a 9-point lead at their place late in the first half. They went on a big run to tie it at the end of the half, so we went and tied. Then the game was kind of back and forth the first 12 minutes, and then they hit us with the knockout punch at about the 8-minute mark. They started making shots. We didn't answer. We didn't guard them well. Sanford made a bunch of shots, and the game got away from us in about 2 minutes. And so we really talked about with this team, not allowing them to hit you with that haymaker, which they're really good at because they press, they can force turnovers, they can make a lot of threes. And I thought we never let them, hit that big run, which was important, especially since we had a double-figure lead.
And speaking more about Iowa, just 11 months ago, you guys were just kind of dismantled in the Big Ten tournament by the same team. What does it mean to have this level of turnaround in such?
Well, I appreciate that adjective. I dismantled, bludgeoned, whatever. I mean, I've never been a part of a game where I just wanted to get out of there because they made every shot they took and scored about 120 points. But We've had a hard time against these guys. It's no mistake there, and the reason is because they're good. I mean, they've had terrific players. They play a system where they run and they score a lot of points, and we just haven't done a good job these last couple of years of defending them well or even giving us a chance. We've been blown out by them. I think probably the last maybe 4 or 5 times we've played them. So I know it was important to our guys to come back tonight and after losing to them a couple weeks ago and find a way to get this win at home. And again, we played well. We played well. We limited our turnovers. I thought we did a good job against the press. We really only had, I think, 2 right there at the end of the first half. We had a couple sloppy turnovers. Second half, though, I thought we did a really good job against their pressure. We found good shots. We knocked them down. Making 10 threes was huge for us and allowed us to get the cushion we needed to win.
Ty Berry played all 20 minutes in the first half and finished with 35. I know he's a starter, but still, normally it's Buie or Chase that has the heavy workload. What did you see that meant that he was going to be playing the whole half? And what did it mean to you to see him have, I believe it's his first double-digit game since
Nebraska, maybe?
Nebraska.
Yeah, I mean, it was great to see him make some shots. I know he's been working really hard. Anytime you're a shooter and you have a little stretch where you don't make shots, you start, I've been there before. I know what that's like, and he's been working. He and I had talked about, hey, just try to throw yourself into doing other things. A big reason we needed him on the floor was because of Chase's foul trouble. Chase picked up his second foul with, I believe, 11 minutes to go in the half. And I really wanted Chase plays hard. Chase gets in lanes. Chase is a guy that's kind of risk reward at times. So I knew we needed him for the second half. So I'm never afraid to play guys with 2 fouls, and I played him a couple minutes. But because he was out the last 11 minutes, it kind of stretched our other guys a little bit thin. Stretched Booth in, and obviously Ty ended up playing the whole half. I thought he did a great job. We kind of designated him to be the guy. They do such a good job at running the ball right back down at you after we score. So we use Ty as kind of the guy to really come back and kind of jam the ball and just try to take away that initial thrust of their offense. And I thought he did a great job of that. We had a couple breakdowns at times, but I didn't think they were able to really ever get out and play the game to the tempo that they wanted. Because if you play their tempo, you're not going to beat them.
Coach, Chase and Boo had attempted more than half of the team shots in the games against Indiana, Purdue. What does it mean to just kind of have this complete shadow of kind of performance?
Yeah, it's important. It's big, and we can't count on those guys every night to just carry. And that's why seeing Ty be able to break loose a little bit. We've had games, where Robbie, has got like last game. I think he took 10 or 11 threes where he was the one that got open. Brooks tonight, getting double figures. I thought Matt had a couple just really big finishes. Where we dished it off to him and they were trying to foul him because he struggled at times from the foul line. And instead of just settling for getting fouled, he got the 3-point play, which was huge. I thought his 9 points. But, if you look kind of across the board where you get 9 out of Matt, you get 16 from Ty, you get 12 from Brooks, and you get 8 from Titus. If we start getting some production like that, then we become harder to beat. You guys know, our struggles at times is when we struggle to score. Usually our defense kind of shows up every night. We aren't always perfect there, but when we've really had our tough nights is when we've had a hard time putting it in the basket. And tonight making 10 threes and having the supporting cast play the way they did, it was huge, especially with Chase's foul trouble.
Coach, after the Indiana win, you talked about with Ty, you wanted to get him some more arc on his shot. He obviously had a good night tonight. Do you think that you really saw his confidence go up and manifest tonight?
Yeah, he made that first one, which was huge. And any time you're really struggling, he's been working hard, and that's one of the things we've worked on is just get that shot out. He's such a good shooter and he's got a soft touch, but felt like it had been getting really flat, over the past 3-4 games. He knocked that first one down, and he's such a streaky guy. I love Ty's energy is so infectious. That's what I love about him. That's why I said we can't afford for him to get down with his mentality because we feed off his energy. He's just such a happy, enthusiastic player. And, seeing him tonight see the ball go in a little bit, hopefully now it's kind of get him back on track and get him back to the kind of production that we're going to need because it doesn't get any easier. You guys know we're playing the best teams in the league, I feel like, every night, and everyone's like, are you Are you worried about a letdown? Well, how can you have a letdown when you're playing, top 20 teams damn near every game? I mean, these teams are so good. We're playing in great venues. So, I mean, I think that helped. Our guys were really excited to play tonight.
Coach, when you look at this team, you can't help but compare it to 2016-17. And when you look at that, one of the similarities is Bryant McIntosh, who led the team 2016-17, now as an assistant coach. How is his play, his experience as a Northwestern basketball player, as a tournament player, helped with this squad?
Well, I mean, you guys know in my background, I was fortunate to be a part of a program where that's what my coach did for the last 25 years of his career. He hired his former players. And a big reason for that was because when you're a former player and you're coaching at your alma mater, it's more than a job to you. That's your program. That's the place you put 4 years of blood, sweat, tears, highs, lows. And there's no greater example of that than Bryant. I mean, he was a part of my first recruiting class. It was great. I saw Vic Law was in the building. He was back from Japan on his little break, and seeing him smiling, there's nothing like the first. I mean, like, every team is different, and what those guys did, because they came here, Brian and Vic and those guys came here when we didn't have facilities. When we didn't have a tournament to stand, they came here because they believed in a vision that I presented to them about what we could build, and they did it, and then so now to have Bryant in our locker room every day, to be able to talk to Boo and to Chase and to Ty and to all these guys about his experience. He lived in those dorms. He took those same classes that you took. I mean, to me, there's no greater guy to be an assistant coach than someone who's worn the jersey and played for me. I mean, he can help those guys out when I'm going nuts, and he can tell them to just relax. He's nuts. He'll come around. Like, it's all right. But it's just nice to have, it's very important to me to keep former players in our program, because I think they're the best representatives for the future players.
No.
You talked very quickly in the opening statement about how much the crowd has helped. When you start to build a lead in a game, how important can the crowd be in keeping them?
Yeah, it's huge, because every team that's down is going to try to make a little run at you. And even tonight, we had like the 14-point lead or whatever we did. And, they made a couple buckets. I think they cut it to 8, maybe 6, where they had that little spurt at the beginning of the second half. And I thought our crowd just stayed engaged in the game, their energy. And it helps too. I mean, we got guys logging a lot of minutes. So, it always helps. I've always felt the crowd can give you that energy that you need to finish the game when you're a little bit tired, and I think that's what they've really helped us with. When Boo's maybe playing extensive minutes, Chase, tonight, Ty, you hear that energy of the crowd, then you can kind of get that second wind and say, hey, man, I got this. Let's finish this out, and then I can rest afterwards.
Just like the Indiana game, you guys had a double-digit lead at halftime, and that one, obviously, the Hoosiers were able to climb back into it. In this game, it feels like you guys just got stronger in the second half. What lessons did you guys take from that Indiana game about preserving a lead?
Well, I thought if you looked at that game, Indiana, I thought early in the second half, we had some opportunities with 3-point shots and layup. Trace Jackson had an incredible block on Matt on a lob. We missed a couple wide open threes during that stretch that kind of would have kept the game at 15-17. We missed them, and they went down and scored. And then all of a sudden the game, it's 6, it's 8, and they got on a run. I thought we did get a little tired, and fortunately we were able to make the play at the end to win the game. Tonight, I think when we were in that position, when we had the lead, we kept scoring. We never had that drought, where we didn't score for 4 minutes, and it allowed them to go on that 10-0 run, 12-0 run to get them. Because if you keep it in double figures, you have a little bit of a cushion. They get it down, then all of a sudden their energy picks up, because then they believe they can win. And I think that's what happened with Indiana tonight. We never really let them get all the way back where they felt they could, really win the game.
Coach, the first time you all faced Iowa, people have been talking about it, but you all were outscored 47-31 in the second half. But going into the second half of this game, even though you all had a lead, was that a conversation that you all had just to finish in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, we were a little bit angry because we had the 14-point lead and we let him hit a 3 at the buzzer. We didn't handle the last 5 seconds. Ulis came down, hit a big shot. We didn't defend that well. So we had a little bit of anger in the locker room, of, hey, we're up 11, but we should be up 14. We got to come out in the second half, and we got to be even better. And, I think you draw on your experiences. Our guys know a couple of days ago we had a lead. We let a team in our building kind of come back and take us to the last possession. And tonight, the resolve of the players was, hey, we're going to keep this thing. They're not coming back. We're going to keep scoring. We're going to keep getting stops. And that's what I like. That's the stuff they're saying. That's not me saying it. It's one thing if the coach is saying that in the huddle, but when the players are saying that and they actually believe it, that's when you got something good going.
Talk about the significance of this season and, this first time getting 11 conference wins here. Talk about everything that's meant in this year.
Yeah, look, I couldn't be prouder of this whole group. I've been in the moment with these guys ever since we started the season. I made a vow to myself, like I'm just going to show up every day. I'm going to do my very best to lead them and to coach them. And they've done the same in return. We haven't gotten ahead of ourselves. We had big aspirations of who we can be. Not many people believed it. I think a lot of people probably laughed when we had those aspirations, but we had them and they were real. And these guys have followed up on it. And we're still in the moment though. So for me, it's really not a time of reflection. 11 wins is great. 20 wins on a season is great. I know it's only happened here maybe 4 times. I think it's the third in the 10 years I've been here that we've hit 20 wins. But we want more. The guys want to keep. That's what they're saying. Like we can reflect at the end of the year when this thing is all done in a month's time, and we can look back and talk about the wins and the ups and downs and everything we went through. But we're trying our hardest right now, man, to stay in the moment. Because we feel like we're playing for a lot right now. That's how we feel. Like all of these games really matter for a lot, for Big Ten standings, for Big Ten tournament, for NCAA tournament, all those things. And we know that we got to just approach each game as it comes. And the next one on the docket is Illinois Thursday night.
Yeah, looking at that game Thursday night against Illinois, how do you take 5 straight conference wins, build that momentum coming into a hostile State Farm Arena?
Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be an amazing atmosphere. They're a heck of a team. We know that. They have as much talent, in my opinion, as anybody in the league. They're long, they're athletic, super well coached. Brad does a great job with his team. Their fans are great. It's gonna be a raucous environment. And we know we're going to have to be at our best. We're going to have to play well. We're going to have to be determined, and it's going to take our best effort to give ourselves a chance.
Anyone, Coach? Lawrence?
Coach, when Coach McCaffrey came in, he expressed that he felt that you should be Coach of the Year or Conference Coach of the Year. Of course, you talked to us in media availability where it's not about you, but how does that, feeling that other coaches in the Big Ten are acknowledging, the team's success, but also, your success?
Well, the one thing I love about this conference is we got a lot of old school coaches in this conference, guys that are competitive as heck and want to win. You see it in my face, you see it in Franny, and a lot of these coaches, everybody's fighting and trying to win. But the thing I've really enjoyed with this current group of coaches is the respect across the board. I think we have as good of coaches in our league as anywhere in the country, and guys who respect the history of the game and what the game means and try to grow the game the best they can, and are terrific teachers and mentors. And, Franny and I go way back. I was a ball boy when he played at the University of Pennsylvania. They had a tradition. He used to tick me off because they used to throw streamers on the court after the first bucket, and I had to go out there and clean them up for 5 minutes. And he and my dad have a special relationship. My dad coached him, for 1 year at the University of Pennsylvania. So I've known him my whole life. I've respected him so much. He's won everywhere he's been. Siena, Greensboro, Lehigh. Now what he's done at Iowa. So to hear someone like that, have respect, it means a lot. And we're just going to keep moving this thing along. Like I said, man, I'm not out there playing. I'm those guys are the ones out there playing. They're making shots. They're getting stops. Our staff and I are just trying our best to put game plans together and figure out the best way these guys can be successful. But all the credit goes to the guys. All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Oh, man. Joined by Northwestern's Ty Berry, Buie. We will open up right to questions. Alex?
Ty, entering the game, you had obviously only made a handful of threes in like the previous 7 games. What did it mean to see those first 2 go down early?
It felt really good to see the ball go in early. All week, stand after practice, getting extra reps, and my teammates, believing in me, telling me to keep shooting the ball every time, and so just getting the confidence back, it felt good.
Boo, after you drained that last step back 3, we saw you kind of take a moment with the crowd, get everybody into it. Can you talk about just reveling in the moment a little bit as your senior season has continued to?
Yeah, I just wanted to show a little bit of appreciation towards the crowd. Their support all year has been amazing, and they're super loud on every single play. And I hit a big shot down the stretch, and it was kind of just that finishing topping. So I just wanted to get the crowd in a little bit before I came out the game.
After the Purdue win, you guys started to get a lot of national attention. What do you want people to know about the 2022-23 Northwestern Wildcats?
We just want them to know that we're serious. Like, this isn't a joke. We're just gonna keep playing hard. We're not really thinking about the attention. We remember what everybody was saying before the attention. So that's what we're focused on, and we're gonna continue our grind. We always say in the locker room, we're on a different mission. I know everybody, when you hear that, you might think like, oh, everybody's on the same mission. They want to play in March, but this team's on a different mission.
What is it?
We're locked in. We're playing for pride. We're playing for joy, and we're super connected.
Boo, you've scored 20 or more in 5 of your last 6. What do you credit this incredible scoring run to?
I credit it to my teammates, just believing in me, putting the ball in my hands, allowing me to make plays, and doing a really good job of just playing off and making shots. That's a huge part. When I pass the ball, when I draw the defense in, they got to make those shots. If not, then they don't. Then the defense, that way the defense can't help off. But if they're missing those shots, they can just sit in the lane on me. And so credit to them, my teammates.
Coach Collins talked about this defense pretty much showing up every game. What does it mean to have such a big offensive output from virtually everyone who played today?
I would just say, our defense has really been our calling card this whole season, and our defense leads to our offense. When we get stops, it gives us energy to come down and get a bucket on the offensive end. And so, I credit our defense all year long for really running our offense.
Boo, so on the staff for Northwestern is one of the greatest players of all time in Bryant McIntosh, and so having him as the leading scorer for the only tournament team thus far, and now having your season blossom into all Big Ten caliber, how has he sort of helped transform your game?
Yeah, I talked to B-Mac a lot. He and Taylor, both really great, all Big Ten greats. And so, they both played the same position I play, and we just watch a lot of film together. We talk a lot on and off the court, just about different reads, a lot of basketball. So they do a really good job of just helping me see the game. So sometimes I miss things, and then we can go back and film, or even in a game. Like if I miss something, they're in my ear telling me like, this is what you have. So just be more patient, or whatever the case may be. So it's been a huge blessing to have those two minds during games.
Boo and Ty, if you could, either of you could answer this, but Coach McCaffrey expressed that Coach Collins, he felt like, should be the conference coach of the year. So can you all talk about how much Coach Collins has been an impact on you all, but also he talks about how, Boo, you should be all Big Ten first team. So I don't know how you want to answer that, but can you talk?
Yeah, I mean, I'll answer the second question about me personally, all big. I mean, I'm not really here for awards. I'm just here to win. Coming into this season, coming back, that's what I told myself. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to help this team make another NCAA appearance. And I've just been thankful enough that it came true, and everyone here believed in me since day one. Coach put the ball in my hands since day one. Got to give credit to him. And, even through all of our ups and downs, this same group has been through so much, and he's never stopped believing in us one bit. Even when we went my sophomore year, I think we lost 13 straight. It's easy for a coach to just get on his phone and start recruiting other players, but he didn't. He just stayed with the young guys, and he believed in us the whole way. So credit to him. Super happy for him.
And for either of you guys, the last 2 games have seen at least 2 technicals assessed. You guys are getting free throws off that. Can you talk about just capitalizing on those types of opportunities?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, those are big plays, and it's part of the game. And so for us to step up and make those free throws, Boo, of course, it's big. It really gives us momentum, and it kind of lowers their morale as well. And so that is something that we feed off of for sure.
Back right.
Ty, can you talk a little bit about the impact of making your first shot and how that allowed you to continue that momentum throughout the game?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it goes for any good shooter in college basketball. You see your first shot go in, and then it all after that it's all green. Like you feel like the hoop is the ocean, and so that seeing the first shot, it really gives you a lot of confidence, and just keeping that confidence throughout the game, but also being smart and continue to take good shots also helps as well. So.
Last question in the middle.
For either of you, I mean, Boo talked about this a little bit, but how much can the crowd help you kind of sustain momentum when you start to build a lead in a game like this?
I mean, the crowd, especially here, has been probably one of the best environments I've ever played in. It's been really, really good, and I credit our students and the fans for coming out and really supporting us this year. It really helps more than you know, more than they think they know. But going on runs, basketball is a game of runs, so going on runs really it gives us energy. And like when guys are tired, when guys are playing a lot of minutes, they really feed off of the crowd's energy to keep them going.
All right, that'll wrap us up.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.